Imagine you've just had a pretty solid day. You receive 10 sincere compliments from colleagues, friends, and family about your work. Everything went smoothly, and life seemed fine. But then, at the end of the day, as you're scrolling on your phone, a stranger leaves a negative comment on your video, or someone cuts you off in traffic with a dirty look. What happens when you go to bed that night? Do you replay those 10 compliments? Or does your mind just obsess over that one moment of criticism? If you find yourself mumbling about that criticism, wondering what you did wrong or why people act that way, instead of enjoying your achievements, don't worry. You're not strange, and you're not negativity biased in a bad way. You're just functioning exactly the way the human brain has been designed for millions of years. Today, we're going to decode why the brain treats negative things like Velcro, sticking firmly, while positive things are treated like Teflon, sliding off without a trace. To understand why we're biased toward the negative, we have to go back millions of years. Our ancestors didn't live in a world of absolute safety. They lived in an environment where mistakes equaled death. Imagine your ancestor standing in the middle of a forest. They have two choices: a bush full of sweet berries or a strange rustle in the brush. If they miss the berries, they might just be a little hungry, and they could find food tomorrow. But if they missed the rustle of a saber-toothed tiger, the game was over. In the process of evolution, the brain prioritizes survival over happiness. Brains that always scanned for danger, always doubted, and always remembered the worst events helped our ancestors survive to pass on their genes to us today. We are the descendants of the worriers. We are not the descendants of the overly optimistic, because those people might have been, well, eaten by tigers a long time ago. So, this sensitivity to the negative isn't a system glitch. It's the most precious survival mechanism of humanity. Psychologists call this phenomenon negativity bias. Imagine your brain is covered with two types of surfaces: a non-stick coating for positive things and Velcro for negative things. When a compliment or a success comes along, your brain is like that non-stick pan. It slides right off. You feel happy for a moment, then the feeling fades. Why? Because the brain assumes this is safe, nothing to be alert about, so it brushes it off. But when a criticism, a failure, or a feeling of rejection hits, the brain turns on its Velcro mode. It sticks firmly, it holds on, it loops. It puts this data into long-term memory, analyzes it, dissects it, trying to find the cause to ensure you never repeat that mistake again. This is why you can remember a nasty remark from your boss 3 years ago, but forget what you had for lunch last Tuesday. Negative things are stored in high resolution, while positive things are often stored in power saving mode. The problem is, in the modern world, we don't have saber-toothed tigers anymore, but our brains haven't updated their software. They still view a critical email, a mean comment on social media, or a cold look as saber-toothed tigers threatening our survival. When you read a negative comment, the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, triggers a fight or flight response. You feel stressed, your heart rate increases, and your body releases cortisol. The irony is, the pain from that criticism doesn't help you survive better. It just burns you out. You don't need to fight a tiger, you just need to reply to an email. But the brain makes you fight as if your life depends on it. This skew leads to a major psychological consequence. We always feel less capable than we actually are. We value the opinion of a stranger on the internet more than the support of those who love us. Because to the brain, social rejection in the past meant being kicked out of the tribe, and being kicked out of the tribe meant death. So how do we stop getting stuck? We can't turn off this evolutionary mechanism, but we can reinstall our cognitive habits. We need to learn to manually do what the brain won't do on its own. Convert the non-stick coating into Velcro for positive things. First, apply the 3-to-1 rule. Research shows that to counteract the weight of one negative emotion, we need at least 3 positive ones to balance it out. If you've just gone through something unpleasant, don't just try to forget it. Actively seek out 3 small good things: a tasty cup of coffee, a friend smiling, a task completed. Stop and feel them a bit more deeply than usual. Stopping is the key. Spend at least 10 to 20 seconds feeling that goodness. That's the time needed for the brain to move the experience from short term to long term memory. Second, label the bias. When you see yourself looping a negative thought, name it. Tell yourself, this is my negativity bias. My brain is trying to protect me from a tiger that doesn't exist. Just by naming it, you've detached yourself from the pain. You are no longer the pain, you are the observer of that pain. You'll realize that thought is just information, not truth. Third, replace judgment with observation. Instead of looking at a negative comment and thinking, I'm worthless, ask, does this actually threaten my survival? The answer is usually no. If it's not a tiger, it's just information. Information can be processed or discarded. When you start practicing these steps, you'll see a difference. Finally, be kind to yourself. Your brain doesn't hate you. It doesn't want you to suffer. It's just doing its job too well, to the point where it becomes overly anxious. You don't need to become someone who is always positive, because that's not real. You just need to realize that in the battle between safety and growth, you have a choice. Next time you find yourself obsessing over something negative, remember the non-stick pan. Allow those negative things to slide off. And remember that compliments, beautiful moments, and the people who love you, they deserve to stick to your mind more than the fears that aren't real. You are not your fears. You are your own growth. If this video helped you feel a little lighter today, please hit the like button and share it with a friend who might need a psychological hug. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos on decoding the psychology of everyday life. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.